Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Queen Konging with the Queen Kong. So we are back for the second episode, which means that we are officially official. Yeah, we have social media pages, so find us. We are on Twitter at Queen_Konging, IG the Queen Kong, FB Queen Kong. So yeah, please find us on all those pages, interact, talk to us. Talk to me. There's no us, by the way. It's just me, man, and my God. So please, holla and make this official. Let this relationship start to blossom. On today's podcast, I'd like us to discuss about dark times and hard times and resilience and passing through them. And for me, the darkest and hardest time I have ever gone through was in 2018. That year was so hard for me, and it was so dark for me that some of my memories of that year up to and until now are just covered with darkness. Like kuna kagiza tu fulani nikikumbuka vitu zili happen hiyo mwaka that I can't seem to shake off up to and until now. I don't know if you've ever gone through such a thing, but I have, and I want to talk about it. Well, in that hard time that I had, I learned a few lessons. And number one is just around God. I don't know who you believe in, but I believe in God. And I surely saw him come through. I do believe that there's a higher power out there, and it does perform miracles. How else would you explain this? So I was living in another house that was very expensive, and I couldn't afford it at the time since I had no job. So after like 2 months of living in denial and accepting that I am broke officially, I moved into a cheaper house. And it was not even me who moved myself. I was so broke, my mom had to bail me out. So she's the one who moved me to the house that I'm actually staying up to and until now, and paid like the rent and deposit. That was in the month of March. Then she paid the rent and deposit in March, and then paid April. So she told me outrightly, I can't afford to pay this house past April. This is the best I can do. And I was like, fine, by the time April is over, I'll have figured out my shit and I'll be back on my feet. Guys, April ilikuja na ikapita. I had no plan in my life. I was just thinking deeper, and I was just feeling lost, and I was not making any money. I would just sleep all day, or eat all day, or sleep all day. None of those activities, as you can clearly hear, involve making money. And I've never been known to be lazy, but I just couldn't. I felt trapped. I felt lost. I didn't know what to do. So I stayed. I still live in this house, as you can tell. But I stayed in that house. I didn't pay that rent from May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. 8 months. I got the next gig in August, but it was an internship, and the money I was getting was not enough for me to pay the rent still. Actually, the amount of money I was earning at that time was the amount of rent that I needed to pay in this house. And I remember I still couldn't afford rent until the next year. And what happened is, funny enough, no one ever knocked on my door asking me for rent. Not once. And in December is when I got, the caretaker came and gave me a piece of paper and told me that we've changed the agent who was working for this building. So this is the new agent, this is the new account number, and this is where you're going to pay. Starting January. So starting January, I started to pay the rent because I could afford it now. But no one ever asked me for that money for 8 months. No one ever knocked on my door. That's one. 2, this place, when your steamer tokens zikifika 9.99, ziuzima, like automatically hauna steamer. But nilikaa kwa hii keja kutoka March zikiwa 9.99 until November. Kama haijai trip ilikuwa tu hivyo. Tangu ile siku nilingia kwa hii hao. I remember I looked at it once, and then the caretaker told me, you need to refill it because if you don't, stima zako zita lost. Stima zangu hazikuwa lost. Hadi November 9.9, as in bra, hata kama basi ingekuwa ina run ingeisha within that time. Those are so many months. Hata kama tu ni balbu na washanga, hawezi kana 9.99 units for more than like 3 months. Nakwambia nilikana, I didn't have electronics, I won't lie. I think I only had my laptop and my home theater, like nothing else. But still, it didn't trip for that whole time. Those are two things that when I looked back in retrospect, I realized that God was with me throughout the whole time. And I had no faith while going through it, and I really didn't see God while through it. But it just affirmed the fact that God is with us at all times, and He sees and He takes care of us in the most weird ways that we can ever imagine. And I think that's how I understood something called divine provision. I honestly believe that there's something called divine provision. Why? Because it's been done for me. And I think that period really built my faith in God. So that's number one. Number two is family. I have always been a sucker for family, but I think that period showed me how much more of a sucker for family. It actually made me more sucker for family. Why? Those people have you. They got your back. And I understand that there are some families that are toxic, and not everyone is privileged to have good family. Not everyone is privileged to actually have family. But if you are, please be good to those people. Be kind to those people, because those are the only people who will always have your back unconditionally. I remember, like, my mom bailed me out, as I said, moved me to a house I could afford, paid my debts. That's number one. But also, like, they supported me and they didn't give me pressure. They understood that I was going through a hard time mentally, and they just stood by me. They really stood by me. They couldn't afford to take me to a therapist, and possibly they didn't even know that I needed one, but they stood by me. And I remember one day, one of the things that really pulled me out of the dark place was it started the process. It didn't do it completely, but it started the process. I remember in May, my sister one day went and bought me a full outfit, like shoes, jeans, t-shirt, jacket, and told me, "These are for you. I'm so tired of how you look every day. Please look fresh just one day. Just look fresh today." And that sort of made me feel something. Aling Bear Vans, the pink jeans, a blue t-shirt, a white jacket. As in, made me feel something. It became a step closer. I remember I even took that photo and posted it on my IG of that day, because I felt good about myself on that day. It didn't do it the whole work, but it started the process of me starting to feel better. So please stick by family. Family are your peeps, Manzi. And if you're not privileged enough to have family, I think there are friends who become family and they stick by you. I have one friend who, throughout that time, she was with me 100, Number 3, it does get better. It always gets better. Like, it doesn't seem like it, but think about that one time that you felt like it could never get worse and it could never get better, but it did. Like, like that one time you thought you would die, but you didn't, manzi. Uko hapa. So it does get better. Like, it's not good right now, but it will be okay, manzi. Like, it will be better. So believe that. Please best believe, manzi. Best believe it does get better. Number 4, it's okay not to be okay, but please try to be okay. Like, don't be comfortable in not being okay. Like, it's okay not to be okay, but if you know you're not okay, seek help, If you know you're not okay, be conscious about not being okay. I have a friend who is bipolar. And she's so conscious about her mental illness that she tells you straight up that this is a trigger and I will not walk down that road. I will not address this because it's a trigger for me and it will take me back. I will not talk to that person because they're a trigger for me and it will take me back. So be conscious of your not okayness and try to find ways to be okay. If you need to seek help, Don't stay at not okay. Don't be... And I know it's so easy to be comfortable at not okay, but manzi, seek help if you need it, The difference between a human being and a pig is what? Let me answer. A pig enjoys the mud. A human being cannot enjoy mud. So do not enjoy being in that darkness. No one enjoys the darkness. I don't even know what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you need help, please ask for help. And sometimes it's the hardest thing, but it's the best thing. And even sometimes you ask for help without even wanting the help. All I'm saying is be aware of where you are and try to be better. Seek out, speak out. Yeah. And finally, find your identity and may it be founded on solid ground and not sinking sand. I had founded my identity solely through work. I was called, I had a brand, I had not a brand necessarily, but I had a tag, a name. Unajua venye unaitangwa mdos, mpaka unakaa mkuelewa. Unaanza kujisikia, mimi ni baze. Unajua, it got to my head. I think it's because nimetoka tu, place nilikuwa nimetoka na how I had never been there before. And it stuck. It sort of, I loved it. I loved that place. I loved those tags. I loved those names. Kuitwa mdosi, kuitwa bigi, kuitwa, baze. But that is not meant to found your identity. Always remember who you are. If you do not have an identity, it's very easy for things to overtake you and they become your identity. Work can become your identity. Friends can become your identity. You can be... A relationship with a man can become your identity. And if you're not careful, that will bring you down, sis. That will bring you down, bro. Let's try and figure out who we are without all these other tags that the world gives us. So that even when the tags go away, we stay founded. When I lost my job, I lost everything because I had built my identity solely around my job. And the biggest task, even now in my life, has been to make sure that I am who I am without what I do, and that my identity is founded on things that are solid, So I hope you find that. I hope you find yourself. I hope you dig deep to find who you truly are, and that sticks, I hope that sticks. One of the songs that really helped me was a song by Lauren Daigle, and it's called Rescue. Listen to it sometime. It's a really beautiful song, and it sort of speaks of who God is, and it really resonated with my spirit at that time. Also, While I'm Waiting by Travis Green. Beautiful, beautiful song. So, while at this podcast, maybe you can pimp up your playlist, Yeah, and that has been the Queen Kong in Queen Konging. So till next week on Tuesday, have a nice time.